Okay, everybody, so now it's time to talk about the cruise itself. Whether you are arriving at the ship on your own or whether you're arriving at the ship with me, once we get to the ship, Amadeus takes over. Now, let me talk a little bit about preparation. Some of you might have gotten a kind of a standard form from Amadeus that asked about choosing your tours. No one on this trip needs to choose tours. I have chosen and included and created special tours because we are on a special itinerary during this entire journey. So no one has to pick out any tours. They're already done, they're already included. Furthermore, your gratuities are all included. And once we get to the ship, all of your accommodations on board, that's part of your cruise fare, all of the meals, breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks in between. There's a 24-hour coffee and tea station and waters, and those things are all included. Now, during breakfast, lunch, and dinner, they have free flowing drinks, meaning soft drinks, beer, wine, sparkling wine are all included in the cruise fare. Things like cocktails, those are extra. That if you would like to have a cocktail at lunch instead of a glass of wine or beer, then that's extra. We will have a few special before or after dinner cocktail hours, which there will be free an open bar with free flowing drinks, and that will be told to you each day. Um, the welcome aboard party, of course, which happens on our embarkation day, that of course happens before dinner. But as each day goes by, depending on where we are, what time we're going to be getting back to the ship from a particular tour, that will determine if that day's special cocktail hour will be before or after dinner. And the special cocktail hour is a gift from me and from Marcus at Amadeus. That's not something that Amadeus usually does. They have a whole different program and different price point than some of the other river cruise lines. And so some of you have sailed with AmaWaterways, for example, are used to that pre-dinner open bar. Well, AmaWaterways also charges 3 times the amount than the rate we got for our special Amadeus trip. So there are certain things that are a little bit different. On embarkation day, when you arrive, you don't need any specific ticket or documentation. You just walk on the ship and you go, "Hi, I'm here." You give them your name. They will ask for your passport, which you'll hand in, and then they will ask you to take a seat in the lounge to kind of have a little drink, get a little rest, and then someone will escort you to your cabin once they are available. Now, cabins are not promised before 3 p.m. Even if you arrive before 3 p.m., you're allowed on the ship, but you cannot access your cabin until they tell you that it's time. And they bring you to your cabin once everything is ready. They show you all of the functions inside, and then our trip begins. On our embarkation day, before dinner, there's going to be a welcome reception. You'll meet the captain, the crew, your fellow guests. Those who are on the pre-cruise land package with me are going to get to meet those who are just arriving. I think there's going to be a few surprises in store for some of you. And yeah, that evening we'll have our first dinner. And we also will, that evening, have a special welcome aboard party in the lounge. Now, on the first day of sailing, because we will leave Nuremberg at 9 p.m. The ship will sail. And something you guys have to understand about sailing on a river, because I know for some of you this is the first time you've ever been on a river cruise. River cruise ships are designed, both their width and their length, in order to fit through this series of locks that exist on the Rhine, the Danube, the Main. So when a ship sails into a lock, it has to be able to rise or fall with the lock water. So that's why the ships are designed the way that they are. And we do sail during the night very often. So, you might wake up at 2 or 3 in the morning and you'll hear that we're going through a lock. You might look out your window and you'll see a wall right up against the ship. That's because they sail right into those locks. Sometimes there's just inches on either side of the ship between the lock wall and the ship. And then we rise or fall depending on which lock it is, and then we continue on. And so that's how the river ships are set up. And you should also know that there are some times when we're in port where our ship might be docked up against another ship, because there are only so many docking locations in the places that we're going, and there are a lot of river cruises out there. So sometimes ships dock side by side and you walk through one ship to reach land. What that also means is that sometimes you open your cabin door, and look, yes, at the moment I'm off the coast of Portugal, but sometimes you'll open your cabin drapes and there'll be another ship right there. So you might get a little eyeful if there's somebody docked up next to us and not aware. It has happened. So that's one little thing to keep in mind about the ships. The rooms themselves, whether you are in a fixed window cabin on the lowest deck, whether you are in a panoramic window, drop-down window cabin, that's a B or an A on the middle or the top deck, or whether you're in a suite, the actual cruise itself and all of its inclusions and access to the places on the ship, they're all the same regardless of where your cabin is. Your dinners, the tours, everything is exactly the same. The only difference are the amenities in the room, how big the room is. But the Star is a lovely ship. The crew is fantastic. We will have a cruise manager that will introduce themselves on our embarkation day. The cruise manager is in charge on board of making sure that tours leave on time, that the onboard program runs the way we want. Because we have a lot of special things in this particular package, I will be working with the cruise manager to make sure that our program goes the way that we want it to. All right, quick change, because now it's time to talk about the cruise itself and what we're going to be doing during the week. Now, it's very important to understand that a Christmas market cruise is like a river cruise at any other time of the year, meaning that you're going to have the historical tours, the culture and the culinary opportunities and tours that you would if you had done this particular river cruise and itinerary in the spring, summer, or fall. The main difference is that the itinerary and the time in each city has been slightly altered to give you the chance to experience some of the Christmas markets along the way. Now, that doesn't mean that you're going to have Christmas markets all the time in every single stop, and every stop is not focused on Christmas markets. So, for example, when we get on board and we start sailing, our first stop is going to be on December 9th in the city of Bamberg. Bamberg is an old, beautiful university town with tons of history. It's quite beautiful. The ship is docked slightly outside of town. So our morning tour after breakfast is going to take us into the city by bus, and your tour guide is going to give you the short, historical, typical city tour that you would have at any other time, and then they're going to turn you loose for some free time. Now, depending on the city or town, Christmas markets generally start to open somewhere between 10 and 11 in the day and stay open until late at night. At least that's the schedule in the larger cities. Some of the smaller towns, sometimes they don't open until 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and then they go on late into the evening. So every city, every town is a little bit different. In Bamberg, the Christmas markets generally do start to open earlier in the day. It's a small Christmas market, and you'll have time to, check it out, see what's there. But the town itself, all the shops and the pubs and the restaurants, everything will be decorated for Christmas. They'll have all sorts of displays and the special items that are available only during the Advent time. So you'll have some time to enjoy the city. Now, something I want to say right from the beginning. Just because there's a tour doesn't mean you have to participate or stay on the tour the whole time. Some of my guests that are coming on this particular Christmas market cruise have sailed with me on the Rhine and the Main before, so they will know some of the stops and don't necessarily need a tour. Never feel embarrassed or afraid or worried to tell the guide, I'm going to go off on my own. Always make sure that you know when the meeting time is to go back to the ship, if it's a situation where we have a bus bringing us back to the ship, and make sure you're there on time. Because if you miss that, it's kind of your problem. So you will have time to have the tour and some free time in Bamberg, but maybe you just want to go off and explore all on your own for the entire time that we're in Bamberg. That's also fine. This is your vacation, your trip, your experience, and it can be done your way. We include the tours so that you have guidance and you have some structure to your time. But like for my pros, I know that some of you have your own ideas of how you want to spend your time in the city. Just make sure you're ready to go back to the ship when the guide tells you and you're in the appropriate meeting spot. Because that day we're only staying in Bamberg for a short period of time. We will be going back to the ship for lunch and to sail. We depart from Bamberg at 2 o'clock. And that night, my good friend Lindsay Hamilton will be getting on board the ship, and she is going to entertain for us. So on this day, we're actually going to have a pre-dinner cabaret show. So Lindsay will do her official show before dinner, then we'll have our great, fantastic dinner, and after dinner, Lindsay and I are going to lead the Christmas market, Christmas carol karaoke, where we all get together in the lounge and sing and have fun, and we'll have some musical games like Name That Tune. It will not be traditional karaoke where we have to sit and suffer through someone who thinks they're a better singer than they really are. We're all going to be singing together and having a really fun time. Lindsay's only with us for one night. She's going to get off the ship the next day when we arrive in Würzburg, which will be after breakfast. We'll have a bit of a lie-in on the 10th. We don't arrive in Würzburg until 11 a.m., and something you have to also keep in mind, a river cruise is it is regulated by the locks you go through that regulate the rivers. It's not like you're just sailing from point A to point B. There are locks that raise and lower the ship in order for it to continue on these rivers, and there are times that the ships must be at their lock reservation. So it's very important that the ships stay to their nautical scheduling. And Lindsay will be leaving us at 11, and that morning you will have the choice to stay in Würzburg and spend all your time in Würzburg. We're there until 8 p.m. Würzburg is another lovely university town. It also is one of the towns that has a large presence because of the American Army that was stationed close by. And it's beautiful. It's fun to walk around. There's several castles. There is a Christmas market on the square. But we have a very special tour that will take you to Rothenburg ab der Taube, which is one of the most beautiful villages on the Romantic Road. If you've ever seen images of Germany, little Gothic towns and Romantic towns with their arches and their towers, it's probably Rothenburg. This is one of those tours where it's going to take us about an hour to get there. I always leave my guide and I go off on my own and do my own thing in Rothenburg. Rothenburg is the home of those very famous Katja Wohlfahrt Christmas shops. There's a Christmas museum there. You can very easily blow through a couple of hours on your own, just wandering and enjoying and shopping and looking at all the things. Or, of course, you can walk with the guide and listen to the history of the town. It will be up to you. we'll go back to the ship in Würzburg, and you'll have some free time if you want to go and walk over to the Christmas market in Würzburg and check it out before we depart at 8 p.m. The next day, we are going to be in two little towns called Wertheim and Miltenberg. We will actually get off the ship in Wertheim in the morning at 9:30 after breakfast, and they're going to be doing a little village visit, and then we'll be going on to the next little village for some gingerbread tasting and to pick up the wonderful Sedergen, my great friend who is a star of RuPaul's Drag Race in the Netherlands and Belgium. And Sedergen, aka Serge, will be with us for 2 days. And on this afternoon, we will be sailing all afternoon. So we have a very special ugly sweater drag bingo planned. Sedergen is going to rock the house. We're going to have a really fun afternoon. Then after dinner, Sedergen will perform her incredibly funny and fun cabaret act, and we will have our very special naughty or nice party. So you're going to want to bring Christmas hats for when we're with Lindsay. You're going to want to bring an ugly Christmas sweater or shirt for drag bingo. And maybe you're going to want to throw something in there for the naughty or nice party that evening. It's going to be a super fun afternoon, very Christmassy, very festive. The next day, we will wake up, and those of you who have sailed the Rhine with me or maybe had come to tarry in my wedding, we will be in the wine village of Rudesheim for the morning from 9 until 1. And this is a lovely little town along the Rhine. They're famous for their brandy and the Asbach, and they have a lovely Rudesheimer coffee where they combine the coffee and brandy and set it on fire, and it's fun and delicious, and you're going to get a chance to taste all of that and to see this lovely village. It's really cute. It's a kind of fairy tale type of village along the Rhine. This is a place that has a very tiny, in fact, also Wertheim and Miltenberg. These are tiny towns where their Christmas markets are only, if at all, they're on the weekend or they're in the evenings. So this will be more about the village visits. However, when we sail from Rudesheim, we're going to be headed to Mainz, which was an incredibly important city throughout German history, and they have a wonderful Christmas market there in the main square and in the heart of the old town. And we're staying at Mainz until 11 p.m. so that everyone will have a chance to really enjoy that market and see it at night and get the whole impression and feel of a larger city Christmas market. This will be great, especially for those folks who don't come on my pre-cruise Christmas land tour, which has Frankfurt and Braunfels in it. Frankfurt's Christmas market and Mainz's Christmas market will be very similar, and but lots of fun. Then the next day we will be in Mannheim, and I know some of you are really looking forward to being able to go to Heidelberg. We will get off the ship in Mannheim, head to Heidelberg for our morning tour, enjoy some time there before coming back to the ship, which will actually have moved from Mannheim to Speyer, which is an old imperial German city, has incredible architecture, one of the largest Romantic churches in the world. It was the site for 1,000 years of crowning of German emperors. They have a very nice Christmas market. That'll be our last chance to enjoy Christmas markets on the cruise part of your vacation, because the next morning we'll be waking up in Strasbourg. And of course, all during the week, we're going to be having fantastic meals and fun parties on board and a good time. But of course, all good things come to an end, and for us, they end in Strasbourg. So I have a separate video for disembarkation and post-cruise information. So I'm going to end this here and get back to editing.
Love like we never grew up. Live like you just get one tonight.